and transfer of Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria in 2021 as illegal. NAPTIP declares controversial Nigerian rapper Speak Darlington wanted over alleged offences. On the foreign scene, U.S. Supreme Court issues ruling to curb judges' power to block President Donald Trump's orders nationwide. Good evening, this is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. My name is Olufemi Alagbe. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, has resigned from his position due to zoning agitations. The national chairman's impending exit is reportedly part of a strategic move by the ruling party to calm rising agitations among stakeholders from the North Central Zone, who have consistently demanded the return of the party's top office to the zone. According to reports, Ganduje would be succeeded in acting capacity by one of the party's national vice chairman until a substantive chairman is elected at the APC National Convention scheduled for December 2025. Ganduje, the immediate past governor of Kano State, was appointed in August 2023 following the resignation of former national chairman Abdullahi Adamu from the North Central Zone. His tenure has since faced increasing resistance from within, particularly from those who viewed his appointment as a violation of the party's internal zoning arrangements. Judicial matters, a High Court of Kenya sitting in Nairobi, the East African country, has declared the detention and transfer of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, from Kenya to Nigeria in June 2021 as unlawful and illegal. The court also awarded compensatory damages of 119 million naira against the Kenyan government for gross violations of Kanu's fundamental rights. Delivering judgments, the presiding judge, Justice E. Nwita, faulted both the Nigerian and Kenyan governments for a rendition of Kanu in gross violations of his rights as guaranteed by the constitutions of the respective countries. Justice Nwita further added that, having entered Kenya lawfully, he was subject to the protection offered by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and the government of Kenya had an obligation to uphold and protect his rights and fundamental freedom. The Court of Appeal in Abuja had ordered the release of Nnamdi Kanu on October 13, 2022, after striking out the terrorism and treasonable felony charge filed by the Nigerian government on grounds that the IPOB leader was not properly extradited from Kenya. The Supreme Court of Nigeria, however, dismissed the appeal court's decision. The Minnesota governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, on Friday urged the Federal High Court in Abuja to release his international passport to be able to travel abroad for... Take that again. Immediate governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, on Friday urged the Federal High Court in Abuja to release his international passport to enable him travel abroad for medical check-up. Bello is being prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on allegations of money laundering amounting to 80.2 billion naira. During the resumed hearing, the defendant's lead counsel, J.B. Daudu, filed an application requesting the retrieval of Bello's travel documents, citing the defendant's medical needs. However, the prosecution counsel, Kemi Pinheiro, told the court that they are opposing the application and a counter affidavit has been filed to that effect. Meanwhile, the fourth prosecution witness, a compliance officer with Zenith Bank, Ms. Hela Bata, denied claims by the EFCC that he was harassed by Bello security aides. On Thursday, the court admitted as evidence statements of account for the Kogi State's government house administration during the tenure of Bello as governor and 6 others, marking them as exhibits. Justice Emeka Nwete, however, adjourned the case to July 3 and 4 for the continuation of the trial and set to July 21 for the ruling on the travel application. Elsewhere, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Person, NAPTIB, has declared controversial Nigerian rapper Darlington Okoye, popularly known as Big Darlington, wanted over alleged offenses including rape, cyberbullying, and cyberstalking. In a statement posted on its official Instagram account on Friday, NAPTIB announced the declaration. Darlington Okoye, popularly known as Big Darlington, is wanted in connection with alleged offenses including rape, cyberbullying, and cyberstalking. The declaration follows the singer's failure to honor multiple summons for questioning in connection with a now viral Instagram live video where he claimed to have had sex with a 15-year-old girl. The video, released on Children's Day, sparked national outrage and drew condemnation from right activists and the public alike. Within 24 hours of the incident, Lagos State Government formally reported the matter to NAPTIB, prompting the agency to initiate a probe. Here in Osun State, amid the continued local government crisis in the state, a civil society organization, the Osun Masterminds, has called for an end to the situation and urged that the rule of law should be allowed to prevail. At its June 2025 State of the State address, Executive Director of the Osun Masterminds, Professor Wasiu Oyedokunwali, said it was crucial for everyone in the state to live in peace. He also called on relevant offices of the federal government to ensure release of local government funds to ensure development at the grassroots. The Osun Masterminds also addressed the level of insecurity in the country and called for immediate review of the country's counter-terrorism policies and approach to national security. The group reminded President Bola Tinubu that securing Nigeria is more important than every plan to win a re-election. Meanwhile, a leader of the group, Comrade Ayo Ologun, said a petition has been addressed to the Inspector General of Police to investigate allegations of abuse of power, extortion, illegal detentions by Amotekun Corps in Osun State. The Osun Masterminds then urged the Osun State government to conclude the process of recruit teachers in the state's teaching service and advise government to rejig the institutional framework for the management of technical colleges in the state so that they can be attractive to young people.
It's why the Osun State government is so unwilling to work with local government chairmen elected under a different political platform. Where we respect the principles of separation of powers, should we not be willing to work together, even if the political parties are not the same? Has the APC-led federal government refused to work with the local government because it is of the PDP extraction? We call on all men and women of good conscience to prevail on the Osun State government to end this needless crisis that it has plunged the state into and allow the rule of law prevail. We are all people of Osun State, whether of the APC or PDP or even any other political persuasion, and we must cohabit in peace. We also call on relevant offices of the federal government to ensure release of local government funds to the legally recognized local government chairmen so that development at our grassroots is not stalled. Rethinking national security.
About the rogue Amotekun. Yes, you're talking. I'm taking it from behind. The third issue has to do with release of funds to local government. The law is clear. Every local government has an account officer. So ordinarily, the signatory to even the local government account should not be the chairman or elected officials of the local government, should be career officers. But in this case, those who are supposed to be at the center of our affairs in the local government chose to go on strike for no reason. So how do you pay money into the account of the local government to be assessed by a treasurer and accounting officer that is at home for no reason? I hope we are getting this dimension. The federal government might be wrong in their want to release the money to elected officials. But do you release money to non-existing career officers? Or tell me if there are career officers at local government at this time. So if the money is released, they will now jump from their so-called strike and quickly run to resume because there's money on ground to administer. So if you have not been working for the past 3 or 4 months, you now expect that they will release funds to the account that you have to be a signatory to when you are not a functional officer of the local government. It won't happen. And I took my time to read through this matter. I saw the letter written by the Office of the Accountant General to the Agon.
The Osun State Police Command is calling on the public for help to locate a 25-year-old man, Olatunde Peter, who has been declared missing. A statement by Police Public Relations Officer DSP Biodun Jalabi said Peter, a resident of Old Ikiran Road, Testing Ground area, Oshobo, left his place of work since June 12, 2025 and has not been seen since then. The statement enjoined anyone with useful information about his whereabouts to contact the nearest police station. Oyo State's government on Friday justified the proposed spending of 63.4 billion naira to overhaul the over 70-year-old government house. This was made known in a statement by the state's Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Dotun Oyelade, in Ibadan, the state capital. He lamented that the section of the media that taunted the impression that the government house was going to be renovated is either ignorant or mischievous. Oyelade said the Seyi Makinde administration is the least that can be accused of not getting its priorities right, noting that for 6 years, the government has nurtured the finance of the state efficiently, such that the internally generated revenue has increased by over 300% within the period, from about 1.5 billion naira to 7.8 billion naira as at the end of May 2025. He explains that an administration that has employed over 27,000 workers spent a record 13 billion naira on gratuities and pensions for the aged, subsidizes the transportation fare of over 42,000 commuters every day till date, and promoted 45 permanent secretaries in one fell swoop, cannot be accused of profligacy. Speaking on the reconstruction and overhauling of the government house, the commissioner said 21 structures would be affected. Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, says the signing of Nigeria's new tax reform bills has given him a sense of fulfillment and renewed hope for the country. He stated this during an interview on Friday, emphasizing that the real work of implementation was just beginning. Oyedele noted that the path to reform had not been easy, but commended the efforts of stakeholders who had supported the process. However, he cautioned that the reforms were still in their early stages. His comments come 24 hours after President Bola Tinubu signed 4 major tax reform bills into law. According to the presidency, the bills are designed to overhaul Nigeria's tax system, improve revenue collection, enhance the ease of doing business, and attract more local and international investments. The Nigerian Senate Committee on Reparations and Repatriation has scheduled a high-level meeting with ambassadors and high commissioners of African countries for June 30 as part of its ongoing push to address colonial injustice inflicted on the continent by Western powers. Chairman of the committee, Ned Nwoko, made the disclosure on Friday during a one-day interactive session held in Abuja. The event focused on the restitution of Africa's looted cultural, human, and economic heritage. Nwoko, who represents Delta North Senatorial District, reaffirmed the Senate's commitment to seeking reparation for historical injustice and the repatriation of Nigeria's stolen cultural artifacts. To strengthen its efforts, the committee is relying support from legislators, policymakers, civil society actors, historians, and international partners to contribute insights and strategies that can shape global support for restitution campaigns. Nwoko said the committee is developing legal and policy framework in line with national and international laws to facilitate restitution. A suspected improvised explosive device IED killed 4 persons and injured 21 others on Friday along the Katango-Goniri Road in the Gujba local government area of Yobe State. The victims, mostly from the Gotola community, were on their way to the popular Buyandi market where their vehicles stepped on the suspected IED. The Gotala community is located at the fringes of the Sambisa forest where the suspected Boko Haram insurgents have been operating for the past 1.5 decades. According to reports, vigilantes and military vehicles had also run over the buried IED yesterday along the same route, with the scores either killed or injured. Earlier this year, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency warned that Osun State was one of the states likely to experience flooding in 2025. However, the state government says it has made adequate preparations to avert such occurrence amid incidents of flooding in other parts of the country. Isaac Aloba reports that the Environment Ministry claims it has completed dredging in key areas, but not everyone is convinced.
In 12 states across Nigeria, the year's rainy season has led to flooding, with lives lost, residents displaced, and properties destroyed. In late May, devastating floods led to the deaths of at least 100 people in Mokwa local government area of Niger State, with thousands left homeless and critical infrastructure and crop plants damaged. However, in Osun State, the government is sending a message of assurance that it has acted ahead of the heavy rains. According to the Commissioner for Environment and Sanitation, Mayowa Adejorin, the government earlier cleared the rivers and canals in all vulnerable communities.
Because of the first experience I said we have to clear, the government has handed over to us didn't prepare ahead of the rainy season. Since then, we have always been preparing. We prepared last year, we didn't have a casualty. We prepared, we are on the road. As I'm talking to you now, we are doing dredging at Ilesha, in various sites at Ilesha. We have almost completed Osogbo. We are working in Iwo. We are working in Ila, dredging, preparing ahead. We are watching some areas in Ede, preparing ahead of the rainy season.
Last month, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, projected that inland states in the south, including Ogun, Oyo, Ekiti, Osun, Ebonyi, Anambra, and Enugu, will experience between 200 and 250 days of rainfall in 2025. In areas like Okefia, Awosuru, and Alekuwodo, all in the state capital, Osogbo, residents say they have not had floods in over a year. A sign, perhaps, that the government's dredging projects are yielding results. But in Osogbo's Aregbe community, it's a different story. Gideon Adigboyi explained that residents pack up and leave every time the water rises.
Because of the flooding, many people will have to relocate for you to know how serious it is. So many people will have to relocate. Even the car wash that you are seeing around the location here, we have to relocate. The residents, the sub owners, all of them are forced to park out when the flooding comes. So,
however, some blame the infrastructure. Yahu Baale, who lives next to the river, says the narrow bridge worsens the floods.
Táwọn àrítọ́pọ̀ ìjìyì nígbà náà lọ́hùn ìyẹn sì ló tún tó bí ọdún kẹta rẹ̀ ó tún ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ìdúntà náà ó tún ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ìsìn nìkan là rí pé wá nítorí wàá rí pé ní fà ni pé gádà àwọn ò fẹ̀ tó kò sì ga tó tóbi omi bá ti ń bọ̀ omi àti gbóró lómi tí mo ń wá títí mo pọ̀ gan àárín yóò sì fẹ́ gbà wọn gọ́dà bíi etí fi máa ń ya lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan tó bá ti kún jù. Ntẹ́mi tó fanu wọ́n sì pòyìpòyì abẹ́rẹ́ pé kí wọ́n ti àbá wọn ṣe wọ́n pòyìpòyì wọ́n mú lẹ́tà lọ wọ́n lọ lẹ́sẹ̀ wọ́n lọ wọ́n sàǹpòyì àríyọ̀ kankan bẹ̀ kí wọ́n wá bá wa ṣe.
Meanwhile, Adejorin argued that the biggest problem may not be the bridge, but the people and their attitude towards the environment, especially the indiscriminate dumping of refuse. The commissioner said the ministry is cracking down on illegal dumping of refuse and those found guilty will be fined.
And according to my observation, when I visited all those river sites, I discovered the major thing that caused this flooding is the indiscriminate dumping of refuse. That refuse will eventually block all the waterways, and the water will not be able to pass. Then the water has no choice than to overflow to the road. The ministry, we have demolished some structures across the waterways. We give you the notice of removal. That's why we have to remove her. It's like some people doesn't do their building plans or any structure plans before they erect structures or buildings. Some will go and erect this erogi, what do you call it? Grinding machines hot along the river bank. Some will erect POS center along the river bank. By the time the river is overflowed, it will clear it. And by the time the adult thing becomes a debris and block the waterways. So we have been going there, removing all those things.
Despite warning from Nigeria's Hydrological Services Agency and NIMET, floods are a rising threat to Nigeria's inhabitants, causing significant loss of life and destruction to property and infrastructure annually. Though Osun has seen heavy rainfall this year, the state has been flood-free, a situation residents hope will remain. Isaac Aloba, Western Spring Television News.
Thank you, Isaac. You're watching News at 7 on Western Spring Television. Still to come. As Nigeria prepares to mark 2025 National Environmental Sanitation Day, federal government urges states that have not yet reinstated monthly environmental sanitation exercise to do so. We'll bring you more on this when we return.